Hi everyone. Today I have two alternative projects for this past paper pumpkin kit. This is my first one, and here is the inside. I just kept it simple because I thought it'd be a type of card I'd just write a note. So it turned out pretty cute, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just get started with this one first. From the kit, I used one of these little hearts. I used one of the envelopes, and I had a different idea going with this one, so I cut the flap off, but it's okay because I'm not using anything but this little design down here, so it's fine. I used one of these little note cards just to punch out a heart. And that was it from the kit for this one, other than I did use a good bit of the stamps. I have this background stamp I used, this heart, the Happy Valentine's Day, this little tulip, and I've got these flowers mounted, but I didn't use them on this one. So first things first, I'll go ahead and get the stamping out of the way. And I just have my mat here off to the side, and I'll pull in a scrap sheet of paper here in a second. And I've already got all my stamps mounted, which of course now they're all stuck together. This one's double mounted. And here's my background. The colors I used VersaFine for my black. I found that one's really good for like letters, things with fine lines, so maybe that's the whole purpose of VersaFine. I'm not sure. But well, yeah, it does say for fine details, so there you go. Mint Macaron and Highland Heather, which, you know, the coordinating for the kit. And I'm just going to ink up this little background stamp. Make sure it's turned the right direction, because I have done that a time or two. I'll go ahead and stamp this down. I'm just leaving it sit for a second. Sometimes if I picked it up right away, it wasn't so crisp. It's like, there it is. But I think that's where my word's going to be, so I'm not going to worry about that. It turned out okay. But you can see down here where it didn't do so well, even with this mat under it. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like I have to push really hard when I'm inking this for it to ink up in the center. And I've found that for a couple of my stamps. So I'm not sure if that's me or just the stamp. Whoops. Sorry about that. I'm not used to working. I don't leave my camera mount in front of me all the time, so I accidentally hit it. I'm just going to clean off my stamp real quick. And I'll set that back off to the side. That's all I'm using that stamp for. The next one, I'm going to go ahead and ink up the little heart outline that says "With Love." And I'll go ahead and stamp this down. It doesn't really matter if it's centered, but I am going to try to put the "With Love" over that lighter spot that didn't stamp so well. And it'll be fine, you know, by the time I punch it out. I'm not real worried about that. Again, I'm just cleaning off my stamp real quick. Maybe I should just set this up there. I'll move my sample out of the way. And next, actually, I need my sample to look at, so just trying to sit it up. There we go. Next, and I did use the heart punch pack from Stampin' Up, those punches. I'm sure they make other heart punches on Amazon. I probably should have looked at that first before I bought the Stampin' Up ones, but I did it because I got the stamp set and I wanted to make sure that it would fit pretty well. So I just went ahead and did that. So I'm going to go ahead and punch this out. And I just try to center it fairly well. Make sure the tips are lined up. That's usually how I center that. Punch that out. And that's all I did with this piece. I'm still saving them because I can use that other little piece for something, or, you know, punch a little flower out or something out of what's left. So I've kept that. And then I have this heart that's already saved. Close up this ink pad over there for now. Because other than the inside, that's all of the stamping. So, oh no, that's a lie. I have to stamp my sentiment. So let me go ahead and do that really quick while I still have this little mat out. And I just have the Happy Valentine's Day. And I'll go ahead, let me try to get this fairly straight. Okay. Sorry for the shaking. Alright, next I used a piece of mint macaron to stamp or punch the scalloped heart. So I've got a little piece of that. And what did I use? Gorgeous Grape for the purple, the darker purple. And I liked the way that the Gorgeous Grape stood out a little bit more. I mean, I'm sure you could use the Highland Heather, but I opted for the grape, so I'm going to stick with that. I will go ahead and open this up. Run out of space. I cleaned off my table, and because it was a disaster, and I'm still a little short on space. So I just punch out one of those, set that to the side, and one of these. And I'll just set that off to the side. And that's all that I did with those two punches. I did use one more punch, and I forgot to get them out, but they are fairly handy to get to, I think. I rearranged everything, so I had to remember where I put it. This little petal punch that's in the Celebration from Stampin' Up, I used that. And I took this envelope and I actually got, I'll go ahead and do it because I'll probably keep using them. I just punched it carefully. You know, I started at the very edge. And you'll get two of each. Yeah, that's the one side. And then here's the other. And even though, you know, I had to start out here a little bit, you can't tell. You know, they both have a good bit. So then I just moved over, and I think I got 4 out of the last one. 4 punches, which would have been, you know, 8 flowers. So we'll see how many I can get out of this one. Maybe even 5. So you can really go a long way just with these. Oops. I don't think I can get 5. But I can get 4 for sure. I'm just kind of trying to pick a little bit. There's a tulip. Look at that. Yeah. So I got 4 punches. And I used up all but this little bit. And if you had a smaller punch, you could use that too. This is the only size that I have. And the only flower one that I have. I'm just checking. You could do a little punch right here and just have a partial. But I don't think I'm going to worry about it too much. And then I saved this for now, in case I find something else to do with it. I'll probably end up throwing it away, but we'll save it for now. And I'm just going to stick my punches off to the side. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to layer these and glue them together real quick. I have cat here. My cat loves to jump up here because it's in front of a window. So I always have, if I leave out, like I'll leave out my scraps sometimes, even though I probably really shouldn't. And I'll have all kinds of little kitty prints from her everywhere. Cat prints and cat fur. So I'm trying to figure out a way to keep her off. I guess I could just cover everything with a towel or something. So I really like how these layer up. It's pretty cute. And I'll leave them to dry for a second. And I'll go ahead. I'm not using the Highland Heather ink just yet. Well, maybe I'll do that. I'll go ahead and wrap up the stamping before we put it all together. So my last one, this side's cleaner. My last one I just left blank. And I just remembered I had this sentiment out. It says love you lots, and it was from last month's Paper Pumpkin. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on the inside of this one. I also use it on my next card, but I think it works really well with this. So, oh boy, this might be difficult to get straight. We'll just have to hope for the best. If it doesn't come out straight, and it's not, well, it's alright. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with it. I know there's two sides, but I can't really lean in any better because of my camera stand, so I'm just going to roll with that. It's not too bad. And this is where I used both of these, the Mint Macaron and the Highland Heather. So put it there for a second. And I used the little tulip stamp, and I just alternated the other one, but I think I'm going to do this one a little differently. Trying to do like a bouquet, but I don't think that's gonna work out real well here. That's not too bad. I might just use this little cluster over here of the 3 little flowers, and I turned them so that because they're kind of in a triangle. I don't know how well you can see that. But so that this part here was kind of wrapping around the words. I don't think it makes a super big difference, but that's what I was aiming for when I did it. And I know they're different, but I'm going to leave it like that. You know, things don't always have to match or be uniform. You know, it's a kind of a cutesy little stamp, I said, I think. So I'm gonna leave it be. And that's all I did for the inside of my card. Actually, this one, I'll just show you real quick again. I just alternated these tulips down here, and you know, you might like that better, but you can do, there's so many different really cool and cute ideas that I've seen as alternates for this Paper Pumpkin. It's unreal. I started out both of my alternatives with inspiration from Pinterest, and then I totally went a different way with it. You know, I thought, oh, I'm going to case that card, and it didn't work out like that at all. And I don't know if you can see, but I have the Scripty embossing folder for this background, and I really like the way that turned out. I think it makes it a little bit more elegant looking. And I had the let's see, the Scripty one is the Stampin' Up! Scripty one, and then I have this embossing folder that I also wanted to try, and I couldn't make up my mind for either one which one I wanted to stick with. I don't know how well you can see that, but anyway, so I did one of each for each, and this one is the thick 3D one, and then the other one, the Scripty, was the new one, so I had to use a couple of shims to get it to emboss correctly, but it worked out okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and start assembling now, because that's all the stamping. I already did the embossing. I guess I should have finished that out first as I was talking about that. Sorry about that. But so here is the floral one. I'm just trying to make sure I get the light on it a little bit in the right way. And I really like both of them, so that's why I couldn't make up my mind. I mean, I guess you don't really have to make up your mind. You know, you're not sending the same card to the same people, so. I guess I'll go ahead. I was debating on whether I should use this tape gun or glue, but this tape's pretty darn sticky, so I might just put a little extra, but I'm gonna use this. I tried to use this, my microwave. It's old. My husband had it when I met him, and it's got the button down in the corner. It's stainless steel, or it's faux stainless steel. I guess it's just plastic, come to find out. But anyway, the button come off, and I tried. It had like some foam tape, and I guess it just lost its sticky. And so I was like, oh, I'll use my ATG gun to put it back together, because that's pretty sticky. And it was so sticky because I didn't clean off the leftover film. And real quick, I'm layering this on a piece of white, but it's just real thin. It's not the 1/4 of an inch difference. I guess it'd be the 1/8 inch difference. And then I'll layer that on here, and on here it is the regular, you know, the thickness is different between the white and the green. So this one I did the 1/4 of an inch, and I wanted it to be a little tighter and maybe a little cleaner looking, or just, you know, just to try something different. So I did this one thinner. And anyway, I didn't clean off the foam. I'm going to set this to the side for a second. I need to put down my ribbon. And the ATG was pulling off the foam, so that did not work out super well. And I'm just going to cut a strip of this. This is the textile ribbon in Mint Macaron, and I really like this stuff. I don't have a whole super big collection of Stampin' Up! Ribbons, or I have like a cheap set of ribbon. It came off of Amazon, and it had like the whole rainbow of colors, bright colors, and then it had them in like solid and polka dots and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, I'm working on my ribbon stash. But I really like that, was my point. I'm going to pop up my hearts, and I'm going to put them on first. And that way I can kind of see how high up I want to put my ribbon. I'm just going to cut these down because they're pretty big. You know, they're bigger than the tip of my finger. see, I guess the purple one, I can pop up the whole thing. It's been a couple days since I put these cards together, and even longer since I did the next alternative that I'm going to show you. I'll just stick it in the middle. So I'm trying to like retrace my steps, and so I'm just going to kind of overlap them and have them maybe each on their own outward angle a little bit. So let's see, from this corner over, I'm going to glue. And I'll leave that sit for a second, and I guess I'll try to fiddle with tying a bow real quick. If that don't work, I might just be going for a square knot. I have to think, like, is this how, I know it's backwards, or you do it backwards. I don't know. I don't tie a lot of bows. Yeah, it's twisted. Having nails doesn't make it any freaking easier either. Okay. Tighten it up a little bit. And my last one did tie pretty well. I didn't have to fiddle with it other than getting it to be the size that I wanted, and it stayed and it looked nice. And alright, so I'm going to go with that. The only thing I really didn't like about doing the ribbon separate from the, I need a pair of ribbon scissors. The only thing I didn't like about doing the bow separate from the ribbon was that it didn't cinch, you know, where the bow would have been tied. It didn't cinch it. So what I did, and I guess I'll try to maybe do this part ahead of time, is I took a glue dot and I put it, I think I folded it in half, because I don't have the minis, I have the full size. And let me make sure I save myself enough room. And I put it in the center, and then I just squeezed. And I didn't like squeeze the ends together. You can see it better. Kind of like the way a piece of bow tie pasta would look, where it'll still flatten out and stick itself to the paper. Like my finger was touching the glue dot, but it'll still look like it's cinched where I'm going to stick my bow. So let me put on my last little bit of dimensionals and stick these down real quick. Should have actually used one to help hold them together a little bit more. And I know it's going to be a little bit overkill, but this is what I'm working with, so I'm going to leave it be. I'll just stick this one back over here because I'll use it again later, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these backers off. Release paper. These are, I feel like, thicker than Stampin' Up! Dimensionals too. They're the Recollections brand. Just throw all these little papers away real quick. And just get that stuck down and figure out where I want to place my ribbon. I think right there is about good. So I'm just going to put a little tape down. Make sure I have my cinching kind of landing where I want it to land and straight, and then just going to stick my ends in the glue. And then this little cinched part, squish it. And I put another glue dot on my bow. And I'll stick it down there. And this one, the way it's tied, you know, I might not have even had to worry about that little, the first glue dot I put down. I'm just gonna get stuck tweaking this for a second, because you really kind of can't tell too much. But the other one, the way the ribbon is spread out more, the tails and the bows, I could really see that it was not, you know, tied on there like it would have been in real life. So that's why I went ahead and did the that extra glue dot there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some extra glue where that ribbon is. Finish assembling this, and then all we gotta do is put those flowers on, and this one's done. So that little bit of stamping and embossing, you know, that was the most we had to do, other than, you know, just the prep work. So this was pretty simple, and I really liked it. So next thing I'm going to do is just take my little flowers, and I did try to curl them up a little bit, and my dog might bark because my husband's coming home. So if he does, I apologize. I am gonna split these into 2 videos because this one's getting to be a little long. No, Colt. And Daddy home. I'll just put them in the triangle motion, and there we go. So thank you for watching.